I thought you said you weren't going to be bought.
These companies will do anything for money.
Like every other journalist out there getting paid for reviews.
Journalists have become cheerleaders for the industry.
Really disappointed in the hypocrisy here.
This video is actually sponsored by Blood Message.
So let's just get into it. Do you know this guy, Legendary Drops? He has a gaming commentary channel here on YouTube, and in his videos, he's often putting the games industry in its place, rightfully so. In his videos, he levies a lot of criticism toward AAA game companies and the games they create.
And how shallow and utterly vapid the rest of this industry has become.
The live service slop that has taken over the video game industry, the excessive monetization.
In a world that is drowning in microtransactions and endless live service models.
The out-of-touch game developers, the drab state of games journalism.
Instead of giving honest reviews, journalists have become cheerleaders for the industry.
Just in the last year or two, his subscriber count has skyrocketed. He gets hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions of views per video. And for the most part, his message has always been very pro-gamer, pro-consumer. And I always respected that. That is, until a few days ago, when he posted a video that makes me think it's time to add him to the ever-growing list of gaming influencer sellouts.
Today's video is actually about Blood Message, as well as the Eastern torrent of games that we're seeing. This video is actually sponsored by Blood Message.
You done lost your damn mind.
Legendary Drops posted a video where he was sponsored to promote a game called Blood Message, which is published by an $80 billion Chinese company called NetEase. And before I share my thoughts and get into why this is so messed up on so many levels, let me just read one of the comments someone left on that video. I thought you said you weren't going to be bought, like every other journalist out there getting paid for reviews. It's a pretty giant conflict of interest no matter how you try to cleverly disguise your light criticisms to have the subject of your video also happen to be your sponsor. These are the exact same bad moves you've harped on while talking about other people doing this exact crap. That comment's the mother I never had. The friend that everybody deserves. Because being a sellout is one thing, but pretending that you're not a sellout while you actively shill for a multi-billion-dollar company, that's a whole different ballgame.
It's the debut title from 24 Entertainment, a new internal team at NetEase Thunderfire.
Legendary Drops has built his entire channel on being critical of greedy, out-of-touch game companies. Yet here he is getting sponsored by NetEase, a company with a prolific history of engaging in shady anti-consumer practices.
Several employees at NetEase Games have been arrested under suspicion of money laundering.
It just comes down to corporate greed.
NetEase Games, the studio behind Marvel Rivals, is being sued by State of Decay co-creator Jeff Strain for the princely sum of $900 million.
From alleged stock manipulation, corruption investigations, to employee fraud and money laundering, let's discuss the controversies and lawsuits of NetEase.
And as this commenter pointed out, Legendary Drops has frequently criticized games journalists who he believes are in the pockets of game companies and are therefore more inclined to give favorable reviews to games made by AAA publishers.
The minute that you start going out and trying to shape and lead the conversation around a game in a certain direction is the minute that you have switched from earning our money to thieving.
So it's ironic as fuck that he's now here promoting a game that's paying him to do so.
Today, what I want to do is I want to talk about access journalism.
And to make matters worse, this game Blood Message isn't even out yet. There's not even a release date for this game. There's a reason he just replays the trailer footage over and over again in the video because he hasn't even played the game himself, bruh. I'm dead ass.
From the outside, obviously we haven't played the game yet, so we have no idea what it's really going to be like.
This is extremely misleading because how in the hell are you going to promote something you haven't even touched?
This game feels bioengineered to be exactly what a lot of people have been looking for.
The game could be garbage. It could be broken as fuck, riddled with bugs, rigged with de novo, filled with microtransactions. It could be chock full of CCP propaganda for all we know.
I love them. China.
But here is a multi-billion-dollar company writing him a check to do not a 60-second ad, but an entire video. The entire video is the advertisement. Again, this is NetEase. They're more than double the size of EA. They don't just make video games either. They're one of the largest internet service providers in the world. And according to Wikipedia, they have a ton of pig farms. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but I can guarantee you they paid him hella bacon for this video.
Now come on now.
And this is my hot take, okay? But if you're a video game YouTuber, you should never be doing dedicated ads for video games. These viewers are coming to you for your your honest opinions about video games. And there's a reason gamers hate when YouTubers do shit like this.
Because I uploaded a Starfield video that was a dedicated ad, and the comments wrecked me. I was ashamed.
It's insulting as fuck.
You wonder why people don't respect you when you don't respect the intelligence of your audience.
Furthermore, he makes this even worse by trying to tie this sponsored game into this weird, twisted message about how Eastern games are superior to Western games.
Blood Message isn't trying to strip down its identity to appeal to a global market. It leans into its culture, that the world is a lot bigger than a handful of ideas Western studios have been stuck on for decades.
Any game company, regardless of where they are geographically, can make a great game, or they can make a shitty game. I've spent many a sleepless night in PC bongs playing Eastern games, and they're not the magical beacon of hope that he thinks they are. Are we forgetting the part where it was actually Eastern games that brought microtransactions into the mainstream? Are we forgetting about Nexon and MapleStory? Are we forgetting it was the East that popularized gacha games, which are basically casinos in video game form, notoriously predatory?
It's a gacha game, guys. Gacha games are already by design predatory.
And this brings me to who is actually sponsoring him, the company behind Blood Message, which is NetEase. I find it fascinating that someone who has crusaded against greedy game companies is being sponsored by one of the most money-hungry game companies of all. NetEase publishes so many slimy gacha and mobile games that are chock full of microtransactions. The list is plentiful. They also have a history of fully abandoning games that aren't profitable enough for them. That is, after players have spent hundreds of dollars of their money on that game. They're known to just shut down servers without any warning.
The game came out 4 days ago. On the same day, the studio had to shut down.
But I guess for him, NetEase gets a pass because it's Eastern.
Eastern games are thriving while Western titles are drowning in complaints, controversy, and creative stagnation.
But in this case, it's the hypocrisy that does it for me. Taking a check from NetEase is antithetical to this whole exploitative game companies are bad rhetoric he's been touting in videos to no end for the last year. How is anyone supposed to trust anything he says moving forward? It's such a fast and easy way to lose credibility, and I'm sorry if this video comes across as too harsh, but my overarching message here is that content creators have become so entangled with game companies that it's actually difficult to find creators who haven't taken a check from them or who aren't in a creator program. And it's so much more disappointing when it's a creator like Legendary Drops, because this is the diametrical opposite of what he said he stands for.
When I sit here and I unload on these AAA publishers and these studios, I think that one thing gets lost is that I want them to fail because it's the only language that these companies understand.
How can you say, I want these AAA publishers and studios to fail, when you're actively working with them and in support of them? This is inconceivable, and it epitomizes the complete buffoonery going on within the gaming space, especially here on YouTube. As a matter of fact, because of the corruption within games media, I feel like a lot of players now look to content creators like him to get authentic news and recommendations for games.
You know, we've been following the decline of games media on this channel for over a year now,
but it's becoming more and more apparent that these YouTubers are repeating the same pattern of behavior as the games journalists they've criticized.
Games journalism used to mean something. It was supposed to be about keeping players informed, holding developers accountable, and exposing bad business practices.
Content creators left and right are getting wined and dined by game companies. They're getting paid to review games. They're getting sponsored to hype up and promote games that a lot of the time are actually terrible. They're walking advertisements for game companies.
When you turn your back on the people that keep you employed, well, you find yourself unemployed. Odd how that works.
I love being right.
This has to be a humiliation kink, right?